Hello everybody, and welcome to another Minecraft mod showcase. Today's mod I'm going to be covering is called the More Weapons mod. Now this weapons mod adds many new weapons and ammo types. Unfortunately it doesn't add any new crafting, but it is easy and simple to craft any of these items. Now I won't show you the crafting recipes, you can just look it up. It should be a More Weapons mod, it just says it. It's compatible with Forge, which is what I'm currently using, and it adds many weapons, least of which are the musket, a long-range but inaccurate gun. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. And it also adds the battle axe, which is just basically another form of the axe, just powered up into, cool form. And there's the blunderbuss, which is basically a medieval shotgun, to say the least. It basically is a extremely spread out and inaccurate shooting gun. Like see, it shot both of them at once. Oh, there's also a random glitch where some of the objects that hit will appear. Like see, that's what the bullet would look like if it were slowed down. Bugger off, dude. It also adds the Iron Warhammer, which does something around. I'm not exactly certain what it does. And it's basically just a huge hammer. There's also the knife. This is basically a little tiny sword that you can throw. If you're in creative like I am, it doesn't stay in your hand. It flies out, and you collect it. Now, it is not destroyed on contact with an item, unlike an arrow. And there's the flail, which is a really weird version of the thing. Like, it makes this big ball. It hits anything it strikes, but it is incredibly finicky about how it works. It's not one I would recommend. No offense, it is an interesting programming, but I'd just stick with the flail as it is. Then there's the crossbow, which is basically like a musket and a bow, except it just basically has little quarrels, which are made out of iron. And there's also the halberd, which can a big spear that has its range greatly increased. You see, it can hit a foe from much farther away than before. Like, see, from right about there, you can hit somebody from a pretty far distance away. So you can keep creepers at bay indefinitely. It's definitely a plus. There's also many other weapons this mod has to offer besides these. For instance, there's a boomerang. Oh, there's pretty much also a blowgun, dynamite, fire rod, which lights the enemy on fire. Dynamite is basically thrown TNT, to say the least. But unlike TNT, it immediately dies when it touches water. There's also spears, javelins. Both the spear and the javelin can be thrown. The javelin's much more accurate. Plus, you can also use a cannon, which is basically a ridiculously huge portable devastation machine. Now, you right-click it. It's hard to destroy after repeatedly. Okay, except if you're in creative. You basically repeatedly hit it, and it will eventually destroy, releasing its components. Now you just get on it. It's a little bit buggy for its movement, but if you look down at it and right-click with a cannonball, now it also requires gunpowder, unless you're in creative, but it still uses the item. So there's a couple pigs over there, so fire! And that was a complete fail. The cannon's rather finicky with how it aims. Let's try this again. Fire 2! Hit him that time, but it didn't do anything. Now the cannon is very hard to aim, but if you're aiming at a big object, you're not gonna miss. Also in the mod includes a little interesting training dummy, which is kind of a little random thing. You can repeatedly smack it till it breaks. However, it will not be destroyed if you break it. Unlike normal objects, if you just smack at them, they'll be destroyed and release the components. This will be an indefinite item unless you throw it into lava or something. remain forever. Kind of creepy with its white face. There's not much else this mod has to offer. There's also ammo for the musket and blunderbuss. And don't forget gunpowder besides the cannonball. Plus, you can also use a boomerang, which is just, you hold it down, it looks weird, it looks like you're guarding, but if you release it, and no matter where you are, if you move way out of the way of it, the boomerang will repeatedly swing around to try and come back to where you are. And after a moment of circling, it will return to you. Let me also demonstrate the spear. The spear, like the knife, if it's thrown, it will vanish unless you, from your inventory that is. You can pick it up again. The same goes for the javelin, though the javelin is a lot farther thrown than the spear and is counted in numbers, unlike the spear, which is only one thing. So it won't have durability. It's basically big arrows, so to speak. The fire rod, I will also demonstrate, is basically just a big torch that if you hit something, you light it on fire. Unfortunately, lighting a creeper on fire is not a good idea. There will also not much else to do with this mod. Oh, also you can, if you use iron, I don't know what parts you add, if you just add it directly onto the gun, but you can add a bayonet of wood, stone, iron, diamond, or gold to your weapon. Pardon me there. This will increase its melee damage exponentially, depending on which current weapon bayonet type it's using. Like if it's using iron, it'll kill them quicker than normal. And if you're just using a musket and smacking, that's basically smacking something with a big wooden stick, albeit with a weapon on it. But still, there's not much else this mod has to offer, and I will see you later with another mod showcase. See you later, people.